Welcome back to the Rev Report, guys. Today is a very special day. Getting my mystery car back today after one struggling, strenuous year. Let's go. Finally picking it up. Hey, how's it going? Good? Is it all good now?
You're gonna have the honors of...
Oh, thank you so much. Finally, guys, we've got the car. Let's go. Wow, that's just like put it back into comfort. Amazing, so amazing. Let's just remember not to do this so often, because as we know, there's regulators and enforcers of the law out there, i.e. police. If you haven't noticed already, it's a 2008 Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG. So guys, I just wanted to talk to you about my story about getting this car. So first of all, we'll just go for a short drive and I'll stop somewhere and I'll explain it all to you. Before I start, guys, I'm going to show you a bit of a clip of the exhaust of the AMG. That took such a long time to get it filmed outside of my house. So, from the top, I bought this car from an auction, sight unseen, and the auction spokesperson was actually muted, so I had no clue whether or not it had an engine. I bought it sight unseen. It was listed as a repairable write-off. I had a 15-minute decision to make it. Like, I saw it at like 1:30, and I think the lot number that it was gonna come up to was like lot 207 or something. It was like 15 minutes, like at 1:45 it was gonna come on. So in those 15 minutes, I'm like, you know what, let me search a bit. And then I came across, you know, legit street cars video about the M156 engine, and I'm like, you know what, stuff it. I don't care. I want like a nice car, you know, let's just go for it. I wasn't gonna win this, actually. I wasn't gonna buy it. It reached 9 grand, and then I'm like, oh, that's it. Like they bid 9 grand. I bid at 8,500 it was, so that's how cheap it was. And then I was like, no, that's it. Not gonna bid. It's not for me, you know, it's not what it's meant to be. And then my other family member convinced me to be like, yeah, more, like 500 more, come on. And then I bid it, and wow, like a split second, I blinked my eyes and it said 1, like for me. And I was like over the moon. I started jumping all around the house. I'm like, I have an AMG, wow. Oh, it was such a good feeling. And mind you, I had no clue what this car had. I didn't know that it was even real, you know, I had no clue. I didn't know if the engine was working, if it was broken completely, if the head bolts were snapped. I had no clue at all. Every story for this car, it's like it makes up for the big story at the end. So it went to the mechanic first. He checked it out, and 1 week later, he was just like to me, oh, hold your breath. The car has started and it's working. And oh my gosh, I was cheering at that time. Throughout the process, okay, I had to like pay so much towing to take it everywhere, because you cannot drive a car like this. Like, first time it was, you know, at the smash repairer, that the actual damage like got repaired, so I repaired it, and then like I just took delivery of it at home. It was just sitting at in my garage, and all I would do was just sit in the garage, sit inside it, you know, just hold the steering wheel, imagining, oh, look at those paddle shifters. And mind you, the paddle shifters, oh my gosh, I've never seen such high quality metal paddle shifters, you know. And I would just sit in it and I would just play music, and my goodness, the Harman Kardon sound system as well was just amazing till now. That's all I did like this past 1 year pretty much. So long story short, it's a pretty long story, to be honest. It's not short at all. I'm sure you'd like to hear this and more. So if you'd like to hear more, like, share and subscribe and comment to let me know what more you'd like to see. Throughout the time, it was just difficult. Like, I had to take it to a lot of parts shops, and a lot of mechanics would just say stuff that just weren't true. For example, one of them were a mobile mechanic. He told me that the steering rack was, you know, expletive. It was totaled. You needed to have a whole new steering rack, which costs $4,000 from the dealership, or around that much. And so I took it to someone that I trust much more, being High-End Automotive. Shout out to you, High-End Automotive. Michael there is excellent, top guy. And so he like checked out the steering rack for me, and I found out that he's like, no, there's nothing wrong with the steering rack actually. Actually, the steering fluid was overfilled. All it needed, as he mentioned, was an adjustment. That's one of the examples of how hard they were to deal with, these mechanics, these parts shops. The parts shops that supplied me with the steering wheel, for example, they gave me a steering wheel which, you know, is not stitched properly. So, and they just, if you return something from them, they are so difficult to deal with. They are not understanding at all. I had to return an exhaust, part of the exhaust, to them because it wasn't the full exhaust. You know, I needed the full exhaust, and they were just so hard to deal with, especially being me at work and the car being towed, like having to have the car towed everywhere, the exhaust being so large, wouldn't fit in any car. So anyways, that's a few examples. And then there was another one where one of the guys sent me a, you know, a pretty much it's gonna go switch column module with the stalker just clicking not very satisfyingly. These were a lot of the experiences. And then there was another one where the mechanic himself, another mechanic, that would let me know that the control arms and the shocks were not available aftermarket. They were available from the dealership. They just told me, yeah, go to the dealer, there's no stock, like we don't know where to get them from. But luckily, what I did was I went to another Mercedes-Benz dealer. They like gave me a discount on them because I bought so many parts from them. They understood my vibe, how much frustration I had about completing this car, and you know how much I was spending on it. Hey guys, so I'm up to the final stage, final part purchase of the C63 before sending it for registration. Here is the car. I don't know if you can see it clearly. That's mine. And these are the parts. So it includes control arms, caster arm bushers, they're all for the front, both left and right, along with the hood release. So the plastic bit was missing, so I just bought the whole hood release instead. So excited. A lot of the times where was very annoying was the wait times. So there was one mechanic that took too long with one of the parts which had to come from Germany. We had to replace the whole SAM module, the front SAM module. So I did that. First, he made a mistake in giving me the wrong thing. Like the car came back home towing, right? I paid for the towing. The lights started flickering, as you will see. The lights started flickering, and so I had to, you know, I had to call him. It really frustrated me, and so he took the car back via his towing. Yeah, he assessed it and found out that, you know, needs to wait for 1, 2, 3 months from Germany. 2021 though, because I was so stressed about it, even the family members that actually, you know, sort of suggested or like helped me to get it, which I was so excited about and willing to fix it up, they were like, try to sell it as it is. I tried to sell it for the amount that I actually spent on it. Yeah, I put it up for sale, and all I get was, it was on Facebook Marketplace. All I get was like, you know, people laughing at it, people like making fun of me, making fun of the car. And then the next sale attempt came. So it's passed some time, like I fixed up the rear shocks with my cousin. appreciate him so much. Shout out to him. So we just finished replacing the rear brakes and the rear shock absorbers of the AMG. And we still have the top screws to be fitted with my cousin right there, which has been brilliant all day. If it wasn't for him, I don't know what I would do. He did all the heavy lifting because he's a bit of a gym junkie. I was just like, oh, this is getting nowhere, you know. It came to a point where I accepted an offer $10,000 below what I spent on it and below its market value. I literally came to that point where I'm like, yep, that's it. And that guy that was wanting to buy it was all the way from Queensland. He was gonna buy it sight unseen as well, and he was going to he was going to organize delivery. And so I'm just like, you know what, I need to realize what I'm gonna miss if I sell it, you know, for such a low price too. It's gonna be terrible. And so finally, the same night, this happened around, I believe, early June. Oh no, it happened around early May. I put it back on sale. That was the second attempt. I removed it pretty much same night. I was getting to a point, like, I actually went to Brisbane for one day to organize all the paperwork. I planned that flight the same day, and I called them up, the towing company. I'm like, listen, you can, you know, take the car as soon as you can. So I booked it for the next month, which was in 14th of July. And then lockdown happened in Sydney. And then Queensland closed the border to Sydney. And I was so stressed out. I'm like, well, hold on. I'm like, oh, here goes. I cannot send my car again. You know, even if it was a towing company, I'm like, I cannot send it again. You know, how are they going to send it? And so I just I called up the towing company. I'm like, you do realize that the Queensland border is closed to Sydney again? And they're like, oh, no, don't worry. That's all they would say to me. And that really frustrated me. Like, I thought, no, how can it be? And then come 14th of July or the week before, which was like, they picked it up around 7th of July or 9th of July. And they took it and they sent it there. And so once they sent it to Queensland, I found out that like one of the guys that had it with them called me, the guy that was organizing the pink slip for the car, called me and he's like, oh, there's no compliance plate on the car. And I'm like, what? No, like, how can it be? I'm like, oh, like, I wasn't told that it was important. You know, no one really said that it was important. I was stressing for those 10 minutes. I called up the write-off inspectors in Queensland, which do all the inspection stuff, because the guy was like telling me, oh, look, we can do the pink slip, but we're not sure about the inspection. Fair enough. I called them up. I'm like, listen, is it okay if the car doesn't have a compliance plate? And they're like to me, oh, we can't read anything on the website that has anything like that. I'm like, okay, like, well, I guess it's something we only find out practically then, isn't it? And so at the end of the call, the guy that's told me that there was no compliance plate messaged me, and he was like, oh no, we found it. It was just in the boot. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I was really hesitant about the inspection. And so I was waiting. I waited for, I believe it was the 4th day or something after the 14th of July. So I was already there like before that day, obviously, with the pink slip guys and the towing truck company. And so once it reached 14th of July, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, you know, maybe they might send it today. Maybe they might send me a message tomorrow. Next day, didn't send a message till Tuesday morning the next week. And I just saw the message. I was the same happiness that I got when I won the car. The same happiness. I'm like, yes, it passed the inspection. Woo! That was the best moment ever. It was hands down, like, it was just amazing. And at that point, registration was like good to go. I get an email saying registration certificate. I'm like, oh, this must be it. This must be that it's registered. And oh wow, oh my goodness, it was such a good moment. That's what I was like dreaming. That's what I was dreaming the whole time until literally the day before. I was dreaming that for 1 year. I could not believe my eyes. And then the car, it full arrived on Monday. It arrived 2 days, or like it was on Queensland on Friday and in my house on Monday afternoon. It was insane, and it was just ready. And so, you know, obviously I did the whole sanitize thing. I cleaned it up a bit because it was really dusty from the transport. And so I was just, wow, like, it's a moment to cherish. Like, it was really exciting. At the end though, I had to take it to the mechanic again because I wanted to sort out the camshaft adjusters, the head bolts and the lifters, which are all common for the M156 engine. Yeah, like, instead of watching YouTube videos, it was just like there in front of me. That's pretty much the story of this car. It's, you know, like, and at the end, instead of just going ahead and buying a car from a car dealer, it feels super rewarding to have it like built by myself. I went through all of that stress, all of those headaches, you know, just those frustrating moments with this car. I went through all of that, and I just like, I feel like I never want to sell it. Literally is a dream come true. Hope you guys like understand where I'm coming from about the whole patience thing and the whole expectations set low. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this video of me speaking the whole time. Please like if you did, please dislike if you did not, and please comment and subscribe. I hope to see you all guys in the next video. Hopefully it won't be too long till that one. And so yeah, peace.